we're gonna straightly go to the next tag, so that you will have at least the first full template, like as a model for you, and we'll go a bit through the code here. So, as we did some modification, if we do git status, let's do a git stash and git stash clear. It will just wipe out the modification you made. That's on purpose. So git stash and then git stash clear. Maybe you will have to remove this folder as well. At least the beer.html.twig, you can remove the template, because taking you to the next tag will overwrite it. So, or maybe git checkout -f step -1. Here we go. Now we have the full one. Yes. So everyone is up to date? Yeah, okay.
By the way, one quick parenthesis. If you use Git, and you should also start using Git aliases, because it will save you like 15-30 minutes every day, and at the end of the year it does count. So there are plenty of articles around about how to, which aliases you should create, and well, for instance, my checkout is CO instead, status is ST, git L for short log and so on. Look into it, it will save you time.
I have to confess, I don't use them.
You should.
Right. Who is not up to date yet? Ah, okay. So now your template should look like the final one. So let's go through the code that has been added actually. So we still have the easy render field for the content name field. We still have the content description, but remember we had a small display issue here. This is mainly because the easy render field for text blocks uses div tags instead of paragraphs. Yes?
We can see the review in our current version.
Yes. Actually, the current version, yeah, it's the static one actually. The review, this one.
Okay.
Because we left it.
Okay.
So, I urged you before to have this content fields templates, which is inside Easy Publish kernel. This is basically the base templates for rendering fields that is used by default by the Easy Publish. So here you will have a very long template with several blocks, one for each field type. So here, for example, for the first one, you will have easy string that perfectly fits for the name, for instance. You have the one for easy text field, easy XML text field, and so on. And if we have a look at how easy text field is rendered, well, it's the simple block field. Content underscore fields.html.twig. It's inside. If you do not have automatic search, vendor, easy systems, easy publish kernel, easy bundle, inside the easy publish core bundle. Not view, resources, use, and it's here. It's usually handy to have it aside so that you know basically how fields are rendered by default. You can of course override it. This is exactly what I'm going to show you. You can create specific templates to override base blocks. And it also shows you how field values are used, because for each field you have different value objects returned by the API, and those objects have public properties. So for example, you can see here the easy XML text field. You have on the value, you have a XML property. For easy author, it's author's property. So it's, by the time you will know them almost by heart. But it's usually useful to have it aside so that, yeah, you can learn it by practicing. So the block field is actually, see there, using a div tag. The problem is that our template designer used a paragraph tag. So we will just override it by creating a new block at the after the content one to override the easy text field block and just output the raw value. So you have it in your, you should have it on your template if you're on step 1. So field.value.text with the NL2BR filter. So this is a native Twig filter.
And just to connect this value thing with the PHP side, within the API folder of the kernel, you will in some place find values for every field. Like we have text line value, text block value, and so on. And those entries like text are just basic public properties from those classes. They're very simple objects that just hold values for fields. So the simplest way is to go check the PHP class and see what properties are available.
So for example, this is the text block value object, which is returned by the API. This one actually extends the text line, so is a string value, which has the text public property. So this is this is just the object we have in our template.
And they are on purpose very, very simple.
Okay. So we defined the easy text field, and to use it, we passed to easy render field the third argument, which is actually a hash with a template key and underscore self, which means we're pointing to this very template we are using. We'll go through the documentation just after so that you can find out what kind of options you can pass. Here, instead of underscore self, you can also point to a dedicated template you created with just a template identifier, like my bundle colon subfolder colon my template. Self is for quick fixes, basically. So here we stuck with the paragraph tag and the easy render field. So again, we just ignored the review to not to display it I just added a if false, so it's never true, never showed. We'll do that later. And for the label, the image, remember this one, we had it, a broken image here. This is a simple field as well, so we use easy render field with a label. Well, this is to add an attribute, so maybe it's not really mandatory, but here this is because we're using schema.org. So we need the item prop HTML attribute. Remember that all beers are stored under the beer style, right? Remember that? In the content structure, we had the beers category, beer category, beer style, and the beer. So basically, we need to show the parent content name here. So what? This is for this one, and we displayed some information here. What? Yeah. Thanks.
And also, to change the image alias.
No, we use the original one. By default, it's using the original if you're not passing the alias parameter. But actually, well, we will use image aliases after that, but you can add here parameters and the alias. So, for example, here, parameters. Yeah.
Too many brackets.
Alias, like large, for instance. This is the kind of thing that can be useful information in the content fields. If you search for easy image field, you will see that there is a comment saying, okay, we accept the alias parameter, and by default, it's using original. Okay. Yes?
How would I connect, or how would I kind of content label is using this easy image field? How is that connected?
Yeah. So let's go back again in the admin interface. So this has been defined in the content type. So remember earlier we went to setup, classes, the class group, the beer class group here. So setup, classes, beer, and beer again. So this is the content type we're using. We made them for convenience for you, so that because it takes a bit time to have them. And you can see here you have all the attributes. Attributes of fields are the same. Fields are the name for the API and the new stack. Classes. So you have here, you know, the name, the description, alcohol by volume, which is the identifier is ABV. The bitterness unit is IBU. The glass. And the label is at the end. So you have this here. It's an image one. So you can go through all the content type and see what are the fields defined and which are the identifier. We always use the identifier inside templates.
But it only says image and that it is easy image.
Yes.
You have to know that, or do you find
if you're in your template, well, you supposedly have created this content type yourself, so you should have known it.
Did you want to know how it knows which block it should use?
No, it's that the text is not exactly the same. So if I use for image in the file you showed us, in the content fields, I would find something else than the easy image.
Easy image is the field type string, the field type
internal identifier.
Internal identifier. Image is the label of the field type. So it's always starting with the easy something. the built-in ones, because you can have third-party ones as well. The native ones are always starting with easy something. So easy string, easy text, easy XML and stuff like that. So for XML block, which is rich text basically, it will be easy XML. For the text line, or how it's called, is easy string, and so on.
Basically, those are the values we have been using for like 12 years now. So we just didn't change them because they're stored in the database, and we were data compatible.
But you have to
Yeah.
to learn this image goes to easy image fields.
Well, for day-to-day usage, you shouldn't have to care that much. But by the way, we have documentation, and Jérôme is going there. So we'll see that field types are documented, at least some of them. The image one is well documented, including template parameters you can use, and how to use the field type from, for instance, PHP and so on. So we just
in the reference, field types reference, and you have all built-in ones. So here, for example, the image field type. Internet is a bit slow this morning. In templates, using. Here you go.
So it should explain what you can do quite extensively.
And this for every field types. I mean, built-in field types. What the value object looks like, the properties base parameters and stuff like that. And here you can see field type identifier is easy image.
So we try to do it correctly.
Yeah. Of course, you will have to learn how to use the, not learn how to use, but use the documentation center at least. Usually the search box,
use the search, it works really well, unlike before. Those of you who have worked with legacy might have a memory of, let's say, arguable documentation. But we are really doing big efforts in this aspect, and well, we are not there yet, but getting there. And if you have feedback, please drop comments. Conference is quite well done, and we take whatever documentation person, Sarah, takes comments into account as soon as possible. So please speak up. And you can also see for this one, for instance, because it's a bit more complex than normal ones, which services are associated. For instance, for images, you have a variation service that will allow you from PHP or anywhere to generate variations for images. So it should cover everything.
And in the reference, you also have all the twig functions that, of course, you by usage, by practicing, you will know them by heart. But it's always handy to have them here, like easy content name, easy field value, easy render field that is here. Easy render field is probably the one you will use most. And you have complete definition what kind of arguments and you can pass to it.
Just for your information, Easy System did a huge work on documentation. So go on doc.easy.no to don't hesitate to go on doc.easy.no.
So
I don't understand about the content object name.
The easy content name?
No, not attribute name, the object name, the content name.
Yeah. What?
How I render in
This is with the easy content name quick function. Here we didn't use it, but it's usually useful to when you're rendering inline content or stuff like that.
Or for menus, for instance.
Or for menus, exactly. You could use the content.contentinfo.name, but you wouldn't be language aware. So this is why you have this twig helper, easy content name. you just pass it the content, and it will use the right translation for the right current language.
And for those not familiar with EasyPublish itself, the name of the content, well, usually it's just the title or whatever the main field, but it can be configured, for instance, to be a concatenation of two attributes with possibly a default value and so on. But in most of the cases, it is just the title, but it can be different. It can be, for instance, prepended with a static string and so on.
This is here. When you're editing a content type, you can define, this is the object name pattern. So by default, it takes the first field you define, but you can customize it, like a combination of several fields, added a static string.
Name and date, for instance. And right below, you can see the URL alias name pattern. So URLs in EasyPublish are built usually based on the object name. So it will be name of the object, name of the parents, name of the grandparent, until the top. This is language aware, so if it's translated, you will get the translations. And you can see here that you can customize it to use something different than name, if you need to, for SEO, for instance. But by default, it will just use the name.
Okay. So so we made the label. We needed to add the style as well. So for this, we used an inline sub request, so base symphony stuff, using the view controller, which is easy_content view location. So this is a sub render of a location for location, the parent location ID. We just pass it the parent location ID with a different view type, embedded line here, and actually we made an additional template.
What would have happened if we had not created a custom template for this?
We would have fall back to legacy template. So we would have a base thing with all fields.
So instead of a line, we will have like a full default template.
Yes.
It would look ugly.
So this one is pretty simple. We imported the markup designed by our page designer. And here you can see that we don't extend from anything. This is on purpose because we don't want to extend from the page layout. Otherwise, we would have an inception thing, a page layout inside the page layout. Here we just need to directly write our own code. You can see that we use easy content name because here we are using the style object. Let me explain it better. We are rendering here the parent location. So the parent location of a beer is the beer style. Remember? So the beer style is a content as well. So we are rendering in a different template with its own fields and stuff. And so here we're just rendering the content name, so basically the beer style name. Is it clear for everyone? Yeah? Okay. We want to have a link to it so that we can just go to it. For this, you can just use the path twig function and pass it the location. By default, in all the content templates or location templates, you have access to the content variable, so the current content, and location variable, which is the current location. So just pass the location object, and the router will internally build the URL. So you can see here and here, it's building the whole URL alias to the style, Belgian style blonde ale. So we can click on it, but we don't have any default template. So it's basic rendering. But we'll manage this later. Also, we have this information. For the labels, we made the labels language aware as well. So this is basically using the Symfony translation component with the trans filter. And we had, we're using a beer.xlef format. So you have all the translations here, in English and in French.
So to manage multi-language, basically, well, Easy Publish itself will take care of multi-language for content. You can add new languages in the back office. Currently we have 2. We support up to 64, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
On 64-bit systems. So this is all automatic, and depending on the current site access and stuff, Easy Publish will pick the right language. Same for aliases and everything. For static contents, where static text, like in templates, we just use a normal Symfony translation components. We decided to go with what we think is the right practice. You can either use like your reference language, like English, in your templates, and pass them to translation. The thing is, if your strings change, you will have to regenerate translations, including what you translated already. So that's why we use like translation, well, keys for strings. Those keys are added by, it's a script, right, to generate the reference files?
Yeah, there is a generator for this.
But for this, you can just check the normal Symfony documentation. So it will pass the key to the trans function and return the right string in the right language. And you can easily translate those files with quite a few tools, because it's XLF is a standardized format, so even professional translators can translate static text from the website.
Sorry, in the file I need to see the word beer.
In XLIF. So, for example, if you're looking for easybeer.beer.abv, open the beer.en.xlf file, which yeah, we added a beer here context, and you will find it here. So the source is here, and the translation just below. XLIF is one format you can go with. You can also use YAML if you want. But the advantage of XLIF files is that, as Bertrand mentioned, it's used by a lot of translation services.
Most tools, actually.
Yeah, this is standard. So YAML is handy because you can do some kind of architecture in YAML, but it's not standard. So.
And for instance, those files can be translated on, let's say, crowdin.net web service to collaborate on translations. So it can even be integrated in your continuous integration system. Like when templates are updated, you can automatically run the generation again and upload the files to the service, have people translate it, and the service can send the templates back, the files, translated files, back to your Git repository. So there are plenty of ways to manage those translations in a very professional way.
So after the label, we want to check first if the field has content, because we might not have information about the alcohol volume and the IBU and stuff like that. So we're using this helper, isFieldEmpty. So you're passing the content and the identifier. Why are we doing this? Because first, field types have different value management, and also it can be maybe filled in one language, like in English, but not filled in French. So this is where you go. This is why we're using this. So if it's not empty, if not isFieldEmpty ABV, we're calling another quick function to get the raw value of your field. Easy field value will return here the text line value object directly and displaying its value. So let me show this. Yes?
About the easy field empty stuff, is it aware of XML text types?
Yes.
Because we've had issues where the editor removed the text, just the C is empty, but upon saving it contained the XML markup from the beginning, so that it was treated as not empty.
Peter?
Not sure.
It might be a bug, of course. Well,
Yes.
the point of isFieldEmpty is that each field type knows what empty means, because empty for an integer is quite easy. It's a bit different for text relation or text block, indeed. But we might have a bug in this regard. Maybe saving will not produce the same XML it would have when initializing the field. So if there is a bug, please by all means report it. We will fix it. Or do a pull request, of course. But
So ABV here and IBU are, ABV is float and IBU is an integer. So we're using the value public property for this. And if it's empty, then we just display non-applicable. Again, with the translation, basic translation.
we could have used an override template for this, right? Alternatively.
Yes.
But we did not.
We did not on purpose because it's a very, very simple one. So implementing a new an override template for these fields, well, this is up to you. You can define override templates for fields for this kind of things. You can use the row value if you want. This is completely up to you. You're not forced to use the easy render field. It's always useful for XML text or image or stuff like that because it does things automatically. But for basic values like strings, integer, floats, sometimes it's easier to use the row value for that. The glass type, we don't use it for now. So here, what we have. We just have don't have the review for now. Okay. So what we are going to do next is to implement a full view for a review. So we're going to do the same, but for a different content type. And then adding the missing block we have. Where is it? Here. So for now, it's it doesn't appear. So let's start again. Just add a new template in your full directory. Beer review.html.twig.
So again, we use the identifier of the content type, beer_review, as the name of the template, just for simplicity.
But you're free to name it whatever you want.
Could be ABCD, but it's not as clear.
So we also need the markup. So this is the review.html.
In the HTML folder in resources, so you can start from there. And again, pick the central part where the content is. So it's the section class equals content.
From line 57 to line 130. You just copy this. Do you remember what we need to do first before pasting the content? Yes, exactly. So first, extends easy summer beer page layout. Let's try to not repeat our own mistakes. Defining then block content. We just created under full beer underscore review.html.wig.
And we have to update again or?
No, we'll try to do this by ourselves.
You could, of course, but please don't cheat.
And inside the content block, just paste what we the base markup.
Well, you could also cheat in a smarter way and just check out the template from the step 2 branch, or step 2 tag, but it's up to you.
And then it's again the same work. I mean, what we have here, the content name. Here we have the author. We will just skip the author. The dates, the publication dates of the article. The rating for the beer. The body of the review. And here is the embedded beer. Because in the review, inside the review stuff.
Well, in terms of structure, a review is like editorial content with a title, author, body, and it's always linked to one beer using a field of type image relation, meaning that when you edit a review, you will be able to browse for a beer in the structure, which is the beer you are reviewing. And we decided to make it appear below the review, so that people can also click on the beer and go check it and maybe buy it if it's linked to a shop or something.
So this is the static file. So you can see we have review, the beer name, description, the rating. This is where we need to reach.
Oh yeah, and you have this little heart at the top as well, because in reviews we have like a Boolean attribute that says this is a really good beer. So if it's enabled, the heart will be displayed. If it's not, it won't be displayed. And maybe we could have a custom listing of favorite beers by editors, like editor's choice or something.
Yeah, just if we go to the content structure in admin, we will see how it looks like at the same J.Vieilledent. Just see, we have the related beer, we have the body of the review, its core is featured.
So featured, yeah. And maybe show the edit interface for a review.
Yeah.
So the first one is the object relation, where we already have one selected. Well, actually, it's a relation list, right? Mm-hmm. So we could search for a beer using the find object at the bottom, or browse for a beer using the content structure.
So if we're looking for a left, for instance, I think that we have a few. Yeah, just select it and stuff. We have the rich text, the checkbox for this feature or not, and the score. All right. So let's go to this J.Vieilledent. So like before, copy the URI and paste it on the front end. Okay, for now we have a default view and we are going to customize it. So we have our base templates. Now what do we need to do to select it? We made the extents, we defined the block. What are we missing? Yes, the YAML config.
The template rule in the YAML file, yes.
So in easypublish.yaml.
So it's very similar to what we did previously because it's again a full view being the default when you just accept the object from the browser. So it will be like a copy-paste of the previous one. We will just change the template name and change the match content class type.
easypublish/config/easypublish.yaml. Here you can see that we have our beer section we made earlier, and as we added the embed inline for the style, we have another block here specifically. So what we are going to add here is a beer review block. Define the template. Easy summer beer site bundle. Cool. And it's called beer review.html.twig. And match. We could have copy pasted. Identifier type. And it's a beer review. So once it's defined, refresh. Each time you're updating a config file, Symfony always in dev mode recompiles the container, so that's why it's a bit slow. And here we go. We have our static markup. We just need to fill in the holes. So let's try to do this. Here, for convenience, we'll just use easy content name. For the display of the little hot glyph, you see we have this item prop item review. Oh, it's something else. Sorry, it's the next span. So we don't want to display it always. So we need to check if the content is featured or not. So let's add a logic block if we need to get the value, so easy field value So for a Boolean, here it's bool. This is why it's always handy to have the content fields. You check Boolean fields and see, yeah, the property is bool. But again, this will be described in the reference documentation, which property you need to check. Oh, so and if. So we're getting the row value object with the bool property, and if it's true, just display the glyph. Let's update. All right, it's not featured, this one.
How? What does it do? Does it display?
Let's, yeah, we want to display the rate. So the rate, the field is named score. So just easy field value, content, score, dot value. For the body of the review, it's even shorter. We are going to use easy render field. Content, its name is body. There is nothing more to add. Then let's see. Yeah, first. Oh yeah, we also have this here, the date. Then we are going to use a basic date filter. So we want to have the content info publication date. Publication date here is, oops, is a datetime object. So we just format it with a pipe date is a native twig filter. So all native filters are documented on the twig documentation basically. So it will be, oh, like let's say year month day. But it won't be localized. We'll see that later. Oh, publication, no, so maybe published date. Published.
I don't remember.
Yes, published date. Okay. Oh, we have our rating 7 on 5.
Yeah, but it's because of Google.
What? Somebody can tell us why we have this? Well, actually, we scored out of 10, and our rating here is on 5. So,
and actually, the reason why it is on 5 is because we introduce micro formats in the design. For instance, reviews are going to be indexed by Google Earth reviews, with the stars appearing in search results. And the standard is that ratings should be out of 5. So you can store your data rating out of 100, but you need to take it down to 5 when rendering, or it won't be understood correctly when being indexed.
Sure. So where was it? here. So we display the raw value, but yeah, let's just divide it by 2.
So, by the way, regarding those objects we are using, everything we use in here, like content info, field, and everything, it is all in the API folder of the kernel. This is like the reference folder where nothing will change without like warning 3 years in advance. It is the public part of EasyPublish. We didn't really have a public part in EasyPublish legacy. Now this is clearly identified, and you can rely on that, and you can use it knowing that it won't. There will be no BC break there. So this is what we call the public API. So the public API is basically the services, which we kind of haven't seen yet, and all the value objects. So if you have some time and want to go in this folder and, for instance, open the content info class, you will see it's just basic properties with proper PHP doc and nothing else. And these are the properties we're using here, like the content info properties from the contents and the published date property from the content info class.
If we are using PHP Storm Symfony plugin, you can also do this really nice thing. It's the add bar. Yeah, I can't remember exactly it's maybe content. No. Let's see how it goes. Yeah.
So it was shown yesterday in the Flash talks, but this plugin is really awesome, and of course it's free, but it's brilliantly built.
Yeah.
Well, it's also made possible by the framework itself, but yeah, use it.
Shit. No, variable name. Okay. Content. Yeah. So if you do that, you will have code completion. So like, for example, here, the content.content info. Let's do it again. Content. Content info.
It's a shame.
Published. Date. That can be useful. We have one problem here. The main problem is that we use the date filter with the regular date format. Usually it's okay, but we want it a localized date. Here it won't be localized at all. If we want it to be localized, we need to use the localized date filter.
Should that be with a Z?
Yeah, sure. Dates. We need the format and the locate. So the format, we will use a medium. The second will be null. And the locale. I'm going to show you in Twig documentation. Better. So it's in Twig contributed documentation and INTM. Where is it? ENTL. So localized date is using the ENTL date formatter. It's using the ENTL PHP extension for this. So you're passing the first argument is the format for the date. Second one is format for the time. Just say known and not null if you do not want to display it. And you need to pass it the locale, the current locale. So here, known. we want the medium format, like it's, it will be something like this. Nothing from the time, we don't want it. And we pass it the current request locale. So here we're using the app global twig variable, access the request, and the locale. Already? Ready? No, it's okay. This one. And here we go. You can see that we have the locale updated. And if we change the site access, like we don't want the English one, we want the French one, it's translated by PHP. So that's pretty much it for the review. But we need to display an embedded beer. So here we're going to do sub request again.
For those familiar with the established legacy, it would have been content view GUI instead.
Yeah.
To render the embedded objects. But now it's a sub request using the content view, or yes, content view?
Content view.
So as a reminder, we have two default controllers for content. We have location view to view location, and content view to view content. In terms of its publish structure, content is like a random content just swimming in a pool. And the location, each content, mostly having a location, is what locates the content within the tree. And the contents can have more than one location, being positioned in multiple locations in the tree. But in our case, we only went for one location, I think.
The first thing we need to do is to extract this block to put it in a separate template. So copy it. We are going to create a new view type, embed. New template, and it's beer.html.twig.
So again, the name of the content type we are writing a template for. So we have two views for beers now, unless I'm mistaken. We have the full view, and we have the embed view. And of course, the embed view is not going to have the page layout again. So it's going to be a standalone template, extending nothing, right?
No, extending nothing, because we don't want the page layout again.
No exception.
We need to configure it.
So it will be configured a bit differently, right?
Yes. Well, yes. Content.
So that's where it changes. So location view is template rules when you're using the view location controller. But this time we are not viewing the location because we don't care where it's located. We are just viewing the content. So it's the second main key available here, content view. And then it's the usual. So view type, embed, the unique key, beer, the template name. So again, bundle, colon, subfolder, embed, colon, the template name. And again, a match. So it doesn't differ except for content view.
Right. But for now, we still have this block here, so we'll just remove it. And instead, we'll need to first get the beer content ID. So,
can you repeat the difference between the location view and content view?
It's simply about which controller is used. Well, the content view will show you a content. So the content is just what is, well, the object itself without its location. Its location is where it is positioned in the tree. We could have used the location view, right?
Yes.
But we kind of don't have the ID of the location for all the related beer. We only have the ID of the content, which is why we're using the content view. So you will see here when Jérôme will add the call to the subcontroller, it will make quite some sense. When we did the render, remember the style, green block? We did easy,
easy underscore content.
So yes, easy underscore content, we had view location. This time we will have view content instead. So the argument isn't a location ID, it's a content ID.
So again, here I get the completion from PHP Storm. So we will use easy content, embed content. And you need to pass it the content ID. So here it's a relation, remember?
So the relation is a field.
So we need first the field, easy field value. Beer.
So here we get the field value of the beer field from our content, our review content, and we get the content ID from this field.
So the property is destination content IDs. So but this is an array because we have a relation list here. Well, this is a design choice. So we'll just take the first one. It's always set, so it's perfectly safe to use this to hardcode this.
Famous last word.
Yes.
But in terms of content structure, it was kind of decided that a review of a beer cannot happen without a beer. So we should always have a beer. We all know how it goes.
Anyway, this is a mandatory field in the admin interface. So if you try to to publish a review without a beer, the admin interface will complain anyway.
Could you switch back to the config and the file system or the structure again?
Okay.
For us to
So it's all those blocks are very similar. So you just go copy paste and just customize them. Here we just added embed instead of full, and the content type identifier match is the same. Then here. I'm going to explain a bit more the render here. I'm using a render ESI because, yeah, we want the beer content might change indifferently from the review, but so we always want to have fresh content. So when the beer article is updated, that the cache of this block can be always up to date. So this is why we're using an ESI, because thanks to that, this block will be managed independently of the main block. We're calling here the controller, which is here easy underscore content embed content, passing the content ID, which is here easy field the value object of the beer one. I think this should, well, we will probably have an exception, always. Never works the first time. Of course. Oh yeah, I forgot an argument, the view type. I only passed the content ID. I need here to pass also the view type, which is embed. This is the one we configured. Here we go. Yeah, we got our, it's the same result, but it's using the sub-template. I guess you want to see this.
We show the view type.
So as a reminder, view type can be anything. It just needs to match what you add to your YAML file. So with this embed, embedded line, full line, and so on are just conventions we've been using in Easy Publish for a while, and while if they made sense 10 years ago, they still make sense now. But depending on how complex the project is, well, we've seen projects with dozens of view types. We just don't need dozens now.
The view type only has to be a folder in the views, and that's it? Or
Actually, not even that, because the folder is specified when you give the name as a template.
so this view type goes to the config, and then it's resolved to the folder?
Yes.
And that's pretty much it, and you don't need anything in the backend? No.
So they could be different, of course. We could have embed as a view type and something else for the folder, but then it would be confusing. So it's usually easier to keep them in sync.
Then we'll just need to customize the template we just created for the embed beer, because for now it's still static. So here, like the title. Let's just use easy content name again. As you can see, there is a title attribute showing exactly the same. So maybe we should just use a set a variable instead of calling again the easy content name. So this is a new one. Set content name equals easy content name. So here, content name, and there. Here we go.
Easy content name requires also name, distinct name.
No, it's no, sorry, yeah, right, I made a mistake. Sorry.
You show the whole line, I think. Because we don't have the autocomplete.
Are you using PHP Storm?
Yes, we do, but it wouldn't load at the moment, the extension.
Yeah.
And
If you're not using PHP Storm, you really should. We're huge fans of this IDE, really.
We will, I think, in the next weeks or maybe a bit more, publish a tutorial on how to use it better with Easy Publish and use it overall. Because, well, I've been using it for 2 years and I'm almost still learning new things. And it was thought for developers, by developers, and it really makes you much more efficient.
If you become a core contributor, you will get a license, by the way.
Okay, we need to display the description here. So let's do a easy render field. This is an easy way to do so. We need the link as well. But the problem is that we don't have a location object. So, but we have the main location ID inside of the content info variable. So let's just do a quick thing here. Here we go.
It's not unique.
So we're still using path, but as we do not have the location object, we're using another way, easy underscore URL alias. And then we need just an additional argument, location ID, content info main location ID. The result will be exactly the same. And here, we'll need the medium alias. Easy render field, content, label, and we need to pass a parameter. Just instruct the system to use the medium alias.
And if I want to add an alt attribute, what can I make?
You can pass the, what is it again? By default, it fallbacks to alternative texts. Yeah, if you want to customize it, then you will need to override this block. Yeah, we could maybe update this template a bit. And I think we're done here. Here we go. Well. Do you manage to have the result?
Said this.
Okay. Yes?
Can you move more to the right? See the location and link?
Content.contentinfo.main location ID? Right. Will be. It's time for lunch already. What I can suggest is to directly jump to the step 2, so that you have all the right templates and have a look at everything. For this, git checkout -f step 2. You will have all your fields, all your templates filled up. There is a few more things that have been added, like the translation strings, not on this one, but on the peer review. A few more things, like here, the static strings and the xlib files and updated and stuff like that. Who is not have questions on this? Is that clear for everyone? Or almost? But if you have difficulties or questions, feel free to ask. I mean, oh.
Did it happen to somebody else?
Some kind of detail.
No.
Mm-hmm.
So like this. I don't know if this is. The last time it said the lock is already down, and I had to remove the lock like this, and then it works. Check out the step 1. See if this is.
What did you do?
We're using just we're using this for someone.
I believe it's like all day long.
Right.